friends, to Tales of Gen X Terror, where we unpack the apocalyptic dread underneath the skin of late Cold War pop culture. My name is Neil, and I encourage you not to die. If you were to ask me why this show exists at all, I'd break this up into roughly two categories. Category one is that I just like being silly on camera, and I wanted to learn some skills about how to put videos together and maybe create some content. So that's me. I'm having fun. Category 2 looks at the more somber parts of my personality, and this show was born during the COVID crisis. We were seeing some of the heights of division in America, and some of me was wondering why things were that way. And I felt like to understand why things were the way they were not even a year ago, and are starting to shift a little bit now, hopefully, it would be important to look at the past and where things had changed. I get a little nostalgia out of that. So I looked at a time that was familiar to me, which is that late Cold War 1980s period. So let's take a look at another time when things changed a lot. And in addressing this transformation through a pop culture lens, I picked up a copy of Breakthrough, which is a collection of comics by international creators that were meditating on the fall of the Berlin Wall. Let me read the back copy here. In an unprecedented spirit of cooperation, 27 of the world's best comics artists and writers met the challenge to compile this collection of their unique individual reactions to the destruction of the Berlin Wall and the breakthrough to freedom which has changed the political map of Eastern Europe. I'm not going to read the whole book because there are quite a few different points of view that are presented, and that would take a lot more time than one video to unpack. But I thought I'd pick one piece by some creators who have gone on to be a lot more popular. This is Vier Mauern, an illustrated text by Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean. Opening. Something there is that does not love a wall. Robert Frost said that, but he also suggested in the same poem, Mending Wall, that good fences make good neighbors. So what did he know? The first wall. I wonder who built the first wall. What was in his mind? Or her mind? Protection? Privacy? Or something else? We build our civilizations with walls, giving us shelter and stronghold, keeping out the other, the elements, wild beasts, people who are different. Walls define us as they divide us. Walls separate people, and not just the walls we build. Perhaps the walls we have to be scared of most are the ones we can't see, that we simply believe in. The second wall. I had a dream about that when I was small. In my dream there was one note, one musical tone, one sound. And when it sounded, all the walls everywhere came crumbling down, and all the people everywhere saw. They saw each other, doing all the things that people do behind walls. Nobody had anywhere to hide anymore. I woke up then, so I never knew if it was a good thing or a bad thing not having any walls, not having anywhere to go and hide, and being able to go everywhere. No pretending, no protection, no secrecy. The third wall. They tell me the Great Wall of China is the only human artifact that can be seen on the Earth from space. I've never seen the Earth from space. I don't know anyone who has. I've only ever seen pictures. They tell me that when you get up that high, it's hard to tell one country from another. You'd think they'd be colored in, like on the old maps we had at school, so you could tell. The fourth wall. When I heard the Berlin Wall was coming down, my first reaction was one of relief, but then I thought, what if there was a young woman who had spent years, half her life perhaps, painting something on the wall? Painting a message or a picture. If every morning she got up early and went out and painted just one or two lines on the wall, every day in the rain or the cold, sometimes in the dark, it was her cry against oppression, her protest against the wall. She'd almost finished when they pulled it down. People could come and go as they wished. The wall she'd been protesting against was gone, as was her creation, split into art-sized chunks, sold to a private collector. I wonder how she felt. I hope she wasn't disappointed. I would have been. Closing. Maybe we should look beyond the walls. Listen, painters and writers and music makers and filmmakers and the ones who paint the graffiti slogans that blossom like bright flowers on the sides of derelict buildings. All of you, there's a fourth wall that needs to be broken down. Governments and official voices point out forever that good fences make good neighbors and tighten the border controls in an effort to make us happy where we are. But something there is that does not love a wall, and it's called humanity. And that's just one of the pieces that look at the end of the Berlin Wall. Maybe I should understand more what things looked like in Berlin before it fell. I don't really have a lot of reference for what that part of the world was like. It's such a different place. And I feel like this points to divisions that we're still feeling today. And I wish there were ways to reach across these walls, not just the walls of your house, but the walls of your heart and your mind, your ideology. I'm not really sure how to do that. There are a lot of people in the world who have really immense walls that they've put up. I don't really know how to unpack that. Maybe you've got some better ideas. Drop them in the comments. If you have other bits of pop culture that I should be checking out, go ahead and drop your recommendations in the comments. I promise I'll take a look. I love it when you like the videos, when you subscribe, when you share them. That's always nice. In the meantime, thank you for joining, and we will see you when the other shoe drops.